Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CEDH. Today we have a super sweet game I filmed at MTG Vegas, and it looks like it's going to be a STAX battle today. And question for the viewer, what's your thoughts on STAX in the current meta? I know Play to Win has really been pushing for speed, but I love a good rule of law, and I've been seeing it do some work, but let me know in the comments down below. Starting us off today is Hidden on Jetmir. What's better than STAX creatures? Well, vigilant, trampling, double striking STAX creatures. Jetmir lets you pump an insane amount of damage and close games out before your opponents can find a foothold. Next up is Robbie Redbeard on Winota, Joiner of Forces. It's pretty simple. Play powerful non-humans, get powerful humans, with a STAX package to slow everyone down while you beat face. In the third spot is Justin, or Orms by Gore on Atraxa. This is a 4-color good stuff list, aiming to loop Atraxa with Food Chain, or just blink a few times to refuel on card advantage, while keeping the battlefield locked under a 7/7 Angel. And bringing up the rear is Fernando, probably better known as Bear Claymore, on Tymna Kraum. Now this is the quintessential value commander pairing, letting you gain card advantage on 2 separate axes, while also having access to all the powerful combos CEDH is known for.
Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board.
Hidden starts off the game with a Flooded Strand, cracking the land for a Savannah, to cast a Worldly Tutor, grabbing a Birds of Paradise to put on top. Robbie has a Sunbaked Canyon, taking 1 to cast an Esper Sentinel. Justin plays and cracks an Arid Mesa for Savannah as well, but passes it there. Fernando shocks in a Watery Grave, and for 1 casts a Mystic Remora. Robbie draws, but there's no other responses. Hidden has an Exotic Orchard and casts his Tutored Birds, hitting the turnover after that. Robbie plays and cracks an Arid Mesa for Basic Plains, tapping 2 for an Arcane Signet. Fernando draws, as Robbie then ends his turn with a Mother of Runes. Justin has an Underground Sea and for 2 casts a Kinnan. Fernando untaps and pays for his fish. A Windswept Heath then comes out as he passes the turn. Hidden draws and casts a Gleeful Arsonist, who resolves as Hidden laments his missing land drop. Robbie plays out of Talon Gates and phases Kinnan out. He then taps 3 for an Archon of Emeria. Justin has a tap Tundra's land return, which did stop him from casting something, as Fernando at end step cracks his Mesa for a tapped Hollowed Fountain. Fernando untaps and lets his fish go. He has a tap Cavern of Souls, naming humans, and passes it there. Hidden finds a land off the top as he plays out a tap Bloodstained Mire, tapping 2 for an Ajani, Nakatl Pariah, who makes a 2/1 cat on ETB, ending his turn sending 1 at Fernando. Robbie then on his turn casts his Commander Winota, but worried about the board, Fernando flashes in an Orcish Bowmaster, who on ETB targets the Mother, with Robbie choosing to protect his Archon from white in response. Winota then resolves, but before he can declare attackers, Justin casts an Into the Floodmaw on Winota to bounce the commander. Justin can pay for the Esper and takes 1 off the Arsonist, with Winota being bounced. As Robbie then sends the Archon at Justin for 2, has revenge. Justin untaps, draws, and misses his land drop, ending his turn sending 2 at Fernando. Fernando has a tap Mana Confluence, and then casts an uncounterable Professional Facebreaker, with Justin regretting his previous attack. Fernando then sends the Bowmaster at Justin and the Orc Army at Robbie. There are no blocks, and Fernando makes 2 treasures. Hidden cracks his Bloodstained Mire, and unfortunately does not have a basic mountain, as he grabs a tapped Sacred Foundry and passes it there. Robbie draws for turn and gets a little too excited with a Sol Ring off the top, as he casts the artifact and takes 1 off the Arsonist, but unfortunately has to pass as he can't follow it up with his commander now. Justin once again untaps, draws, and passes, with Fernando at end step Red Elemental blasting Kinnan. He'll take 1 from the Arsonist and gives a card to Robbie off the Esper, which also triggers Bowmaster to ping down Hidden's bird. Fernando then heads to his turn and spends most of his mana on his commander Kraum. He then heads to Krombat and sends the commander at Hidden, with the Facebreaker heading at Justin. There are no blocks once again, as Fernando makes 2 more treasures. Hidden is really feeling not hitting his 4th mana source, as for 3 he casts a Dovahkiin Pack Beast. Has this ever happened to you? You sit down to play a fun game of CDH, only for you to play your first card? And what's that? Hideous white paper proxies? Well, not anymore. Introducing Doot Loot, your one-stop shop for foils, altars, and other rarities, specifically curated for the CDH community.
Thanks, Doot Loot. Now my deck doesn't suck.
Join now and we'll throw in monthly credit giveaways, so be sure to not miss out. Robbie this time remembers his Archon as he plays out a clifftop retreat and goes straight for his commander Winota. Although he walks straight into a mana drain from Justin, who will lose one from the Arsonist, although we do miss the Esper Sentinel trigger, although granted Justin could have just paid for it.
It's true, it did stop you from getting attacked.
Yeah.
I will add 4, or I will upkeep draw. I hate it here. This 4 mana is not gonna get used, unfortunately. God,
really?
that sucks. I have this hand. We're so close on like 3 different axes,
Yeah.
but pass.
Fernando on his turn then casts his other commander Tymna. The commander resolves as he moves to combat. Kraum heads back at Hidden, the Facebreaker heads at Justin, and the 2/2 Orc army at Robbie. There are no blocks as Fernando makes 3 treasures and pays 3 life into his Tymna to draw. Hidden on his turn casts a Stadium Headliner. He then heads to combat and sends his Pack Beast and the 3 mobilized warriors at Justin for 3, sacrificing the tokens at end step. Robbie decides to take a turn off from Winota as he casts an Alexios. There isn't a counterspell this turn as the creature resolves, with Justin at end step Mystical Tutoring. He takes 1 damage from the Arsonist and finds a Demonic Tutor to put on top. Justin draws his tutor and gains control of Alexios. He then casts his tutor, takes 1, and pays for the Esper Sentinel as he finds a card. He then plays out a tapped command tower and has to move to combat, sending a 5-power Alexios at Fernando, who takes the hit. Alexios then continues to grow as Fernando untaps and moves straight to combat. Alexios heads at Hidden, Kraum at Robbie, and the Facebreaker heads at Justin. There are no blocks as Fernando gets 3 more treasures and pays 3 more life to Tymna to draw. He has a tapped Exotic Orchard as land for turn and exiles a Simeon for red to upcast an uncounterable Ranger Captain of Eos, which grabs him a Mockingbird off the ETB, with him then discarding an LED and an Angel's Grace due to hand size. It's Hidden's turn with Alexios, as he then immediately also heads to combat. He sends his 2/1 cat at Robbie and Alexios at Fernando, with the Stadium Headliner and Pack Beast going at Justin. He'll make 4 warriors off the mobilized triggers, which all continue heading at Justin. Robbie will block with his Archon, and Fernando will double chump with his Ranger Captain and Orc army to suck up 5 damage. And with the death of the cat, Ajani will flip onto his Planeswalker side, which Hidden will then 0 to make a cat and take out Kraum, with Hidden then passing after that. Robbie gains his own Alexios back and then recasts Winota once again, with the commander resolving this time and actually making it to his Declare Attacker step too. Robbie will then send Alexios at Fernando with the Archon heading at Hidden. This will gain him 1 Winota trigger, and unfortunately all that effort was for naught as the trigger whiffs and both players take the hit. Justin untaps, gains Alexios, and plays out a tapped Scrubland. He then heads to combat and is hoping to get Fernando out of this game as fast as possible, as Alexios is sent his way, and Fernando drops to 5. With Justin on his second main casting a Bright Glass Gearhulk, which resolves, although responding to the search, Fernando casts an Opposition Agent, to which Hidden then responds with an Aven Interrupter on the Oppo. The Oppo is plotted as Justin finds a Mana Vault and a Mystic Remora. Fernando then untaps and gains Alexios. He then heads to combat and sends Alexios at Hidden and the Facebreaker at Justin. There are no blocks as Fernando will make 2 treasures and drop to 3 off the Tymna draw. Unfortunately, it looks like he hasn't drawn what he needs, as he then recasts the Opposition Agent and has to discard an Offer You Can't Refuse and an Enlightened Tutor due to hand size. Hidden gains Alexios and goes into the tank for quite a bit. He then decides on an action plan and zeroes Ajani once again to make a cat, and this time actually point the damage at the Archon, as Hidden needs his brush land to come into play untapped, which now gives him the 4 mana to cast his commander Jetmir, who resolves as Hidden then moves to combat. He can send the Avon at Fernando, Alexios at Justin, and the Pack Beast, Arsonist, Stadium Headliner, and the Cat at Robbie, with the on-attack mobilize triggers giving Hidden 4 more warriors also heading at Robbie. But before damage can happen, Fernando responds with an overloaded Psych Rift. Unfortunately though, he forgot about the Arsonist, who now is buffed by Jetmir, which takes him out to fizzle the spell, with the rest of the table following suit from the double striking onslaught. Game review. Well, did this make you want to sleeve up some rule of laws? Well, I certainly know I need to at least make a few swaps in Jetmir at least. But I can't believe the table was held down by just the Archon. And had Robbie been able to protect his mom, this would have been one different game. But I do want to give my thanks, as the slowdown really helped me finally hit my 4th mana source. But what do you think? Honestly, I've been playing with a few more rule of laws recently, and really loved forcing combo decks to slow down. But let me know in the comments down below. Thanks to everyone that joined for the game, and before everyone leaves, I want to thank our special Patreon members, Slyfox and Holy Septic, for the support of the channel, along with all of our other Patreon supporters as well. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.